Hey everyone, I'm Jonathan from H&J Petroleum. I handle the marketing here, and I just want to welcome you to our latest devotional video. In our last video, John Poe talked about how work as a gift is a guiding biblical principle for our business. And in this video, I'm going to have a conversation with our Vice President of Completions, Zach Hernandez. We're going to be diving into biblical stewardship and some of the dangers of overworking, and what does it really mean to work hard as a Christian in the oil and gas business. Zach has a lot of great insights for us, and I'm really excited for you guys to take a look. So let's get right into it. I'm reminded a little bit right now of the sentiment in Scripture that, living a faithful life, working hard for the gospel, for the ministry, that at the end of that, what we're really hoping for when we get to heaven is for Jesus to say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And what is that? I mean, obviously that has to do with ministry, but do you think that something like that applies with what we're talking about with work as a gift as well? Or how do you think that ties into that?
That's interesting. That's a great question. I do. I think that does play into some of it. Is we're all enacted to think that we strive through good works, and our good works and all that kind of stuff are part of who we are, how we act, or how we treat other people, how we treat the work that we're gifted. But it's not going to save us in the end. But the good works, I think, is a challenge scripturally to us to be good stewards of that.
Yeah, be faithful.
Yeah, to do it to the fullest extent of your talents. Like, you were gifted talents. Like, you're born with a certain amount of talents, a certain amount of skills, and to use them, to go full forth and conquer everything that you can in whatever that is. All the way back to Adam was put in the garden and told to work it and till it, and it was told to him to use your skills and go and do and make this prosperous. And I think that's what we're here to do.
I really love that idea of stewardship, because being a steward is such a high responsibility.
Oh yeah.
It's not, Jesus talks a lot about the servants in his parables. For example, there's a parable of when the master goes away for a long time, and if you're a faithful servant, you stand outside the gate with a lamp, and you're always on guard. Like, you never know if he's going to come back, right? And so when a bad servant, when he comes back, he's sleeping in the master's bed, he's made a mess of the place. But for us, I believe that not only the ministry that we're doing and the life that we're living is important to steward, but it's also about the work that we're given.
Yes.
It's about because it's all integrated. It's not just I can go to church on Sunday and say the right Jesus answer, and then I can go to the pad and either slack off physically, which I don't think any of the people watching this video are slackers by any means, but they slack off in other ways, whether it's letting your guard down and falling into temptation or whatever it is. But we're called to be faithful in those instances too.
That's a really good point. Is the sin of the day, is I think we're all succumb to, especially when you're out there on location and you're out and away from the rest of the world, and the technology that's sitting in our hands is dangerous. Idle time's the devil's time, kind of thing.
Right.
And so, when you're talking about living to that level of stewardship and really taking work as a gift, are you doing everything that you can do, or are we slipping off?
Do you know that there's room for a
improvement.
little bit more?
That's right. Always, just a little bit of improvement. just had this conversation at the house, and it was like, well, I think we're doing a pretty good job. And I said, always room for improvement. Always. Like, and I'm always trying to find those areas where I can push myself a little bit harder, do a little bit more. Something as simple as going to the gym, because I like to use that reference. It's like, well, I lifted this weight. Can I not put another 5 pounds on? Can I not put another 10 pounds on this time and just try? Like, even if I don't get it, I may not conquer it this time, but maybe I'll conquer it the next time. And I should challenge myself with all of those things in and around work, is for that self improvement, for that work improvement, for all of those things, find
Right.
that opportunity to do it a little bit better. And that to me is related to the stewardship,
Right. And the other thing is talking about, Colossians 3:23, doing everything as if you're doing it unto the Lord. Um, that idea is so much embedded in stewardship. So when you're saying, like, kind of in your mind, like, can I put 5 extra pounds on? Or if you're on the pad, like, could I do a little bit more? Sometimes you just do everything you possibly can and things
Yeah.
go wrong and it's not your fault, right?
Yeah.
But um, if we really see work as something that we get to do instead of something that we have to do,
Yes.
then it kind of fosters this desire to make sure you put in everything that you can, not just from an effort standpoint, but from an excellence standpoint as well.
It is such a great use of language, and it's one of the places where, in other areas of my life, I tried to focus on. I get to do this, and that's just a sense of gratitude. It's like it's shifting that conversation to a gratitude conversation rather than what takes a little bit of a negative preference. And so, yes, I get to come to work. And that in and of itself is just automatically encouraging for me to take and pour out all of my skills and effort into that work to make it the best it can be, to do the best that I can do, striving for that excellence, which is one of the things that we're doing here. And that in and of itself is stewardship, and it's serving to the Lord, So that's what we like to do here.
Right. I think what is interesting though with this conversation, you know, um, in this industry and in this crowd and atmosphere, I think a lot of people get that. A lot of people kind of get um, the grind set.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Another day, another dollar, kind of,
Yeah.
like, let's go get this done. So if anything, there might be even a temptation to take it too far.
Yes.
To where work is the only fulfillment.
Well, 100%. Like, I think it's been said, that sweat on the brow is not necessarily the same as excellent work, you know, and so going to perform that work, um, to the level of excellence. I think it requires more than just um, that particular task. I think there's an equal amount of weight on the rest side of things, which we've talked about, sacred rest. And I think in order for your work to be its maximum, I think you have to have an equivalent amount of rest. Um, I don't know that they are. I don't know that they're a 1-to-1 equation.
Right.
God, I wish they were sometimes. But I definitely think that your rest has to have some equality to your productivity, in order for you to maximize the output, to maximize that level of excellence.
Yeah, I mean, God gives us one day to rest for 6
Yeah,
days of work.
yeah. So there you go. It's a 6-to-1.
Yeah.
Hey, good reference. Thank you, for that, because that's exactly what it is. And so the grind, which we become accustomed to on the oil patch, especially in the contract world, is that the work is going to end tomorrow, so I better work today. And like tomorrow never comes, you know. And so what I end up finding myself in is working, 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 and yet then there's so many other things that are left undone because we're not multitaskers or we're not great multitaskers if we're gonna perform to that high level. Not that it has to be perfect, but just that it needs to be good, you know. So that's definitely a thing.
Right. So tell me what you think about this. I think that a lot of very common for men, not saying it's uncommon for women, but very common for men is let's just say 10 years of marriage, people change. And the dynamic has changed. The person you married has changed probably to some extent. And there is a very real temptation to bury yourself, for the husband to bury himself in work, and for the wife to bury herself in just raising kids.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that I feel like a lot of people probably struggle through and try to figure out. It's probably an issue that's mostly based in just not wanting to take care of a problem. But it's the reason I bring it up is because it has everything to do with work and how people become workaholics. They work days, nights, weeks on end, months on end, just to escape
Mm-hmm.
a hard conversation. Hey, real quick, if you guys like these devotional videos, go ahead and do us a huge favor and click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell. We'd also love to hear from you guys on any feedback for these devotional videos in the comments section below. And last thing, if you're looking to hire one of our H&J consultants, they pass a rigorous 5-step hiring process that evaluates their character, expertise, and work history. If you're interested in hiring one of our guys, click the link below. And if you think you have what it takes to be an H&J consultant, we got a link for you as well. See you guys. Back to the video.
Man, you know, this is a really good topic. One, because I have some experience in it, and two, because I'm unfolding a new chapter and in a new way to present myself in this manner. And so, surely enough, it wasn't a 10-year marriage, but it was about a 10-year relationship. Fewer number of years married, and we divorced, and it was related to some of that. Like, just completely dove into work. Like, I was 100% in work. There were some other outstanding circumstances that created some of that. Her kids, because it was hers and mine and not ours. Were a little bit older, but she was definitely pouring herself into those kids. But she was also working and also had a career and that kind of stuff. And so, but we didn't meet the hard conversation. I also didn't have some of the bases behind where, you know, work is a gift, where this principle kind of sits in, but from the business standard to the biblical standard, I didn't have that some of that understanding. So this is a reflection onto that time, very similar to the conversation or the question that you asked, to the new. And the new is new family, young children, ours, and and I have this biblical principle of work as a gift, right? And I also have this other one, sacred rest, and so I'm thankful that today, when I use those two scenarios and I reflect on the past and I look at how I'm handling or managing the current situation, is I'm present. And the reason that I'm present in the current situation is because I have valued my own rest. I have valued my own rest, and I also have valued the excellence in which my work is performed. To be, it the work is a gift, so I'm trying to strive to be better and to do it better, and that's both at the office, at the home, and so I can be present. And if I didn't have some of my own rest, some of my own quality time, um, it would be difficult for me to be present or in the moment at home, you know. And so that reflection to the past is like, oh, those are some of the things that I was missing. Those are some of the things that I didn't have. Those are some of the tools that were not in my tool bag for me to use or to fall upon. And now today, finding that ability to not to one, to leave work where it's at, to leave work right where it is because I performed it to the maximum of my ability for that day. And two is to have some of that rest, equivalent rest that is needed. And then three is that I can go home and be present. And being present with the children and with her at home is essential to that unit working well.
And there can be some rest there too.
Oh yeah,
with everybody, but I do appreciate the idea that you do need some time to yourself. I mean,
yes,
in your video talking about how Jesus would draw away.
yeah, yeah.
Jesus draws away from the crowds and everybody that wants to talk to him. And I'm not necessarily advocating that every man on Saturday goes and golfs for 4 hours.
No.
But I feel like there's real practical things that we can do that keeps a balance here of like, work is a gift. I'm leaving it where it lies, and I'm about to enter the house where I need to be a rock, or where I need to be strong, or whatever the case may be, whoever you are. Yeah.
100%. Like it like a light switch.
Mm-hmm.
Like pulling into the garage, it's like, all right, I'm home. Work is where it is. This is where I'm at. I'm here.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to just like take 5 minutes in the car.
So to reset, and I think that's great. It's something that's needed. And for me, like finding myself in the moment was challenging in my past, and it was probably because things were left undone, or because I wasn't performing all the tasks that I should. And not to say that it was done, or that is done perfectly today. Is not, but it's just that I have the power and the will to go, it's done for now. I'll come back to it. Finding that opportunity to reset, pull yourself together. Know that you did what you could do. You did all you could do for the day, right, wrong, or otherwise, finished or unfinished. And then you can come through the door and be present, be in the moment.